Average Habs fans' thoughts on the Leafs. This is going to be a non-biased opinion of what I think's in the Leafs, say, in the last 15 years, 20 years, what I've seen. I'm 30 years old. I really got really into hockey when I was like 7, 8. Really started following it when I was about 10. So what I've seen of the Leafs is I've seen like 15 years of struggles, man. They haven't even made it out the first round when they do make the playoffs, and that's not me hating. That's just what I've seen. I've seen many disappointing teams, many disappointing pickups. Phaneuf, Kessel are the big ones, of course, that stand out. I've seen them lose series like that one in Boston that they shouldn't have lost, that goalie really let them down. I kind of do put that on Robert myself. But the past 5 years, like since they've implemented this Shannon plan and went out and got Shanahan and got Babcock right after winning a gold medal, who's clearly the best coach in the league at the time, probably one of the best coaches still right now, in my opinion. He has to be for sure, especially with trying to roll in like they are. They made great draft pickups like Matthews, of course, he's the highlight. Marner, amazing. And Nylander, who was a steal in the top 20s, in the 20s, I'm pretty sure he went. And even though he's a bit overpaid now, in people's opinion, he's a darn good player. 60 points in his rookie year. He's no joke, 20 goals. And they went out this year. They signed Tavares. Last year they made the playoffs. They barely lost to Boston by the skin of their teeth. We all know Gardner did cost them that. Gardner was terrible. A couple other players not stepping up like Matthews and scoring like they should. But hey, the past is the past. As for this year, winning the Stanley Cup, I don't see it unless they go out and get a Jake Muzzin type defenseman. They steal one of those defensemen from San Jose, go out and offer him 4 first-round draft picks for Vlasic or something magical like that. And they get a little bit of grit up front because they don't have the grit up front, let's just face it. Sorry about the noise in the background, guys. My daughter's eating pudding, and apparently she's really into the pudding. She's not liking the cat right now, but hey, anyways, back to Toronto. But yeah, that's what I think they need to pick up. They definitely need the grit up front, for sure. Sorry about that, guys. I had to switch rooms. My daughter was killing that pudding out there and hating on the cat, so here we go again. I'm going to give this another attempt as I'm going through the video. But yeah, that's what I think the Leafs need to pick up. They need some grit up front, like a Wade Simmons type player. That type of guy, Wade Simmons, he would add so much to that team. He would put them over the top. Because who do they really got up front if they come up against a Boston, or like a tough team like Tampa that's going to be all up in your face? Even Montreal. Like, who do they got that's going to answer to that? I don't see it. Like, Matthews, like, they do need some grit up front. You need that in the playoffs in order to win. But they could get that. They have the cap space for sure. Up front, if they got a Jake Muzzin on the back end, a top 4 defense, maybe even like a Petrie type defenseman. I wouldn't want to be a Petrie, obviously, but maybe even like a Petrie type defenseman. That top 4 that guy's going to give you the minutes, that's going to play hard no matter what. Like, that's what they need. That's what Toronto needs, in my opinion. But they've been rolling really good. If they did get to the playoffs and didn't make any of those acquisitions, the way they would win a cup, if they did, and in my opinion, they're top 4. With Nashville playing the way they are, they got to be top 4. They're right up there with Tampa, and who else? It would be Tampa, Toronto. In the West would be Winnipeg. Winnipeg's struggling a little bit. Nashville's supposed to be the team. Calgary's really good. But, like, Calgary would probably kill Toronto if they played Toronto. That's the type of team they don't want to come up against, in my opinion. That gritty team that can just score and get a goaltender that could stand on his head. And Riddick, like, he's pretty good at times. But that's the team they don't want to play. But if they did get to the playoffs and say they came up against Boston or Tampa, the way they would have to win is they would really need Anderson to stand on his head, make the big saves, at least a 9-20, 9-30 save percentage. And they would need to outscore teams flat out. They'd need to get Matthews going. He'd need to have those 6 goals a series, 5 goals a series, hat-tricks in games. They'd need to have Tavares going with Marner, which is pretty much been all season. Like, they've been lights out, but who knows, in the playoffs it's a whole different style, and they are a bit of a smaller line. But they would need to have them going too. They definitely need the least, between their top 2 lines, be getting 12, 13 goals in a series at least. Like, there's no way they're beating a team like Tampa, winning 3-1 games, 3-2 games. Those games are going to be 6-4, 6-5, 5-4. They're going to be high-scoring games. Tampa has way too much offense to stop them with the defense they have. The goalie would have to be, he'd have to be everything, and they'd have to avoid taking penalties. Same thing with Tampa. If they did play Toronto, they'd have to avoid taking penalties because Toronto's power play is killer. They are killing it. But that's how I think Toronto would win a cup, in my opinion. This is a Habs fan's opinion now. Like, I'm trying to be as non-biased as I can. And Toronto does have a chance of winning the cup. Like, even without those pickups, they have a chance. But if they went out and, say, got a Muzzin, oh my God, or they went out and got a really good top four defenseman, Hannafin from Carolina, like somebody like that, man, oh man. Or Hamilton, sorry. A Hamilton from Carolina, my God. They would be unreal. They really would. And I'm pretty sure Dubas is a smart enough guy to recognize this. He gets a lot of recognition for what Toronto's done. But when you think about it, it was Lamoriello and Shanahan and Timmins, I think his name is. Those guys made the draft picks. Those guys put this team together. Those guys set a style, set in the locker room, set a pace that they've been keeping up to every year to get better and better. Last year, they set a franchise record in points. Matthews has been lights out when healthy. Marner is just killing it. Nylander has been struggling a bit, but he did just come back. I don't even think it's been 20 games yet. Give the guy a chance. He has 60 points in his rookie year. He's 20 goals. He's a good player. He really is. But, yeah, that's how I think they'd win if they were going to win. I personally hope they don't win as a Habs fan, because I would never hear the end of it. The boys would be giving me the gears and saying your team hasn't won a cup in 23, 24 years, whatever it is. They wouldn't stop. I know they wouldn't. Even after all this losing. I think the Habs were like 16-0 against them at one point. If they did come up against Montreal in the playoffs, I'm picking Montreal all day. 4 lines deep, better defense, Carey Price in net. You can hate all you want. I'm picking Montreal. That's my team. Like, come on. But the Leafs are a nightmare against anybody to come up against. Maybe Tampa, Calgary, Nashville, those type teams would be brutal on them. But other than that, I could see him wiping out Boston first round. Like, I could see him mopping the floor with Boston, even though Boston had top guys up front and all that stuff. Like, Boston barely took care of them last year. And the Leafs, they know how to play Boston now, I guess. Like, they need a bit of size up front and stuff, but they're just too good. They just score too much. And Boston does have the aging players. Can Bergeron hold up in the playoffs like he used to? Like, I know he's having a good regular season, but playoffs are a whole different story, man. And those older defensemen that they got, but except for McAvoy, he's amazing. McAvoy is amazing, but really, what other depth do they have on D besides McAvoy? I don't follow Boston a whole lot, where I'm a Habs fan. When they do play him, like, I try to, but I don't care for Boston. Like, I'd rather follow Toronto myself than Boston, but that's just me personally. But yeah, that's how I think Toronto would win a cup. They were going to win it. All those things I said.